What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It's Illusion here, and today I'm going to be doing something a little different. So for those of you who don't know, at the time of recording this, we just hit 100 subscribers, which is honestly just amazing for me. It's just a huge accomplishment. I never would have thought that 100 of you guys would enjoy my content that much to just to subscribe to my channel. So from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank everyone who has watched any of my videos, left a like, left a comment, just huge thank you to you guys. And so because of that, I figured why not do a deck profile and do a profile on one of my favorite decks for Overdress. And in the name Overdress, this is going to be my updated deck for Nirvana for the D-BT04 meta. So I mean, without further ado, let's just get right into the video. Alright, so for the right deck, we're actually going to be running the Sunrise Egg for this starter. In my last video, I was using Trickstar as a starter. However, just going back and forth with it, I really don't like the fact that you don't draw going second if you're running Trickstar as a starter. And I mean, that's the extra draw is crucial for this deck. You need to see, your key pieces, your key, your arcs, your regular Virenas, your new Virenas, the new Nirvanas, and just personally right now, I prefer the draw rather than having another Trickstar in the cycle. But I mean, you can run whatever you want. I mean, it's up to your personal playstyle. This is how I just really like playing the deck. And then for the grade 1 on the right deck, we have Reno. Basically, when it's written upon, you get to search your deck for a Trickstar, and you get to call it. Pretty much simple. Next up, we have Rayu. Again, same thing like Reno. When it's written upon by Nirvana, soul last one, look for a copy of Virena, add to your hands. Definitely needed for the deck. And then lastly, for the red deck, we have the one copy of Nirvana. So you get to discard a card, and you get to call a grade 0 from your drop zone. Which you're usually going to be calling your Trickstars if you use them for like discard fodder, or if they got retired from like opponent card. And then its other skill reads you get to counter +1 on attack, and you get to give this unit and all the other units with the Overdress ability 10k. So it's kind of like a pseudo front trigger, but for like Overdress units. Definitely needed for the deck, and you can't really play the deck without it. So I mean, yeah, that's for the right deck. And now we are going on to the main deck, starting off with the new 4 copies of the new Nirvana, MAHAR Nirvana. So its skill, basically you get to counter +1 Soul Blast Nirvana, or you get to discard Nirvana, call a grade 0, and then if your opponent is at 4 less damage, you get to deal them a damage, which is really good in case you need to apply some more pressure into the game. You're running at 4 just because you need to see all of your copies. You need to at least see one of them for your first grade 4 turn, because the Soul Blast requirement or the discard requirement of getting rid of Nirvana is crucial. Otherwise, you can't really revive like your Trickstars and do your opponent damage. So you need to run 4 of them to max, basically make this deck more efficient. Next up, we are running 3 copies of the new Virena Esperandia. Basically, I want to say it's a better multi-attacker than Urger, just because, it's not using the soul as much. Which, I mean, this deck has, you need to learn how to manage your resources. And this card, I mean, definitely helps with the managing resources. So you overdress on top of Trickstar, and you get to put every single card with Trickstar and Virena in its name underneath it. And then its second skill is when your Vanguard attacks, you get the Soul Less 1, stay in the unit, and it gets 5k for every unit with Trickstar or Virena underneath it. So if you have a lot of Trickstars and Virenas underneath Esperandia, this thing is going to be swinging for mad numbers. And plus, I forgot to mention, with the grade 4 Nirvana, if your unit is in the Overdress state, the front ring is 10k. So I mean, when it swings for the first time, it's swinging for 23. and then you can soul blast one, restand it. It's going to be swinging for a much bigger number, putting more pressure on your attacks. And personally, I don't think you need to run it as a 4 of. I think 2 or 3 copies is just fine. But I mean, that's my personal opinion. Next up, we're actually going to be going over the grade 2s, and what better way to start off with the main staple of the deck for VANGUARD arcs. Basically, just a pot of greed with wings. When it's overdressed, when it's placed, you get to counterblast 1 and draw 2 cards against 5k. Definitely need it for just the draw power of the deck. And I mean, yeah, it's just a really good, solid turn 2 play that most Nirvana players will usually go into. Next up, in terms of like staples, we have 2 copies of the regular VANGUARD. So it's basically your search target for Ryu. Yeah, Ryu. And in case you damage the first one, you at least have a second copy to search off of it. And not only that, it's like a good I don't want to say like 10k beater. It's basically like a 20k beater that could at least go to 30 if it's an overdress and you use your Nirvana skills. Other than that, I mean, it's just a really good beat stick in general. All right, next up, this is going to be my personal choice for the deck. It's actually going to be VANGUARD Urger. In this meta, you're not going to be really using his Soul Blast 2 Overdress during the battle phase skill a lot, just because you're going to be needing the soul for VANGUARD Esperadilla. However, again, like what I said about the regular VANGUARD, it's a good 20k beat stick on Overdress. And not only that, it's a good 15k interceptor, which is really good for the deck. But I mean, however, like if you don't want to run Urger in your build, I would recommend either running 2 copies of Expecta or like 2 copies of Valiente. But I mean, in my personal opinion, like this card is definitely needed for the deck. Next up, we're actually moving on to our grade 1s. It's actually going to be Blaze Pull Monk Retsuji. Definitely a needed card for the deck. So its skill, basically you get to go counterblast 1, grab an overdress unit from your drop zone, add to your hand. However, if you are in grade 4, your Vanguard's in grade 4, you get to counter charge. So essentially, it's on plays, grab an overdress unit for free. You don't want to be using this card during any other turn other than your grade 4 turn. Otherwise, it's just -1 in terms of counter blasts. Next up, this is my personal tech of the for the deck. It's actually going to be Blaze Maiden Mirren. So my thought process with the deck is that there's not a lot of ways you can fuel your soul up for this deck unless you use the the effect crits. However, I did not just want to rely on that. I wanted to be able to fill the soul up without having to rely on those crits. So Mirren's like a good choice. If you don't want to use Mirren, you can use Takashirashi. However, filling in these last 2 slots for the grade 1s, you're not going to be seeing Takashirashi a lot for the deck. And plus, also you want to be discarding like overdress units, your extra arcs, Urgers, just any extra overdress units, so that way you can fuel up your Esperita turn. And I mean, this card is not bad in general either. I mean, it's basically, even though it's like a 6k booster, it still gives 5k to like one of your overdress units, which I mean, that could be really good for attacking numbers. And so 2 in the deck is just fine. If you want to bump it up, I would just maybe, I don't know, replace one of the Retsujis or one of the overdress units. However, I think personally, in my opinion, 2 is okay with the deck. And the last 4 spots for the grade 1s, it's going to be the 4 PGs. Can't really play the game without them. They're just really good. And their second skill, I mean, it's only a lot better than the original, just discard a card and perfect guard it. I mean, that's pretty much all I have to say for that. I mean, just run these PGs. And then the last spot for the normal units is actually going to be for Trickstars. You definitely want to be seeing as many of these as you can, as fast as you can. So maxing this card out, it just increases efficiency in the deck. Efficiency. There you go. God, English is hard. Alright, so that's for the normal units. We're going on to the triggers. So we're running the one copy of the Dragon Empire Over Trigger. Honestly, nothing really like too much can be said about this card other than the fact that if you reveal it during your grade 4 drive check, congratulations, you get 6 free cards for you. And other than that, I mean, it's just a really good card in terms of, you know, just restanding your Vanguard, getting more drive checks. Definitely needed for any Dragon Empire deck. I won't say any. Eugene is like the one exception. However, I mean, this deck is this card is just really good for the deck. And then next up, we're running not 4, but a total of, if I can get them, 8 crits. So along with the normal crits, we're going to be running the effect crits, was basically just at the end of the battle of boosted, just put into the soul against 2k. You definitely want to be maxing out on crits because, like everyone says, crits win games. And this deck doesn't have a lot of like pressure points in terms of like of crit pressure, because you're not running expected. You need to be maximizing out on the crits. That way you can at least pressure your opponent. And other than that, you know, it's just pretty much the standard ratios for the deck. And then next up, we are running 3 copies of the draw triggers, the new triggers that came out on D-BT04. Again, nothing really much to say about this deck. This is a draw trigger. You need to see your draws during your drive checks, and it's also just, you know, a 10k guard. I mean, other than that, you know, it just could be just ditch fodder for, you know, for basically whatever. And then last but not least, for the heals, just because you need to see heals to not die. I mean, that's pretty much about it. And so other than that, guys, that's pretty much the deck profile. Honestly, I'm having really fun with this deck a lot, except, you know, when I play Prison, because this deck just really hard loses to Prison. But other than that, I mean, this deck is just insanely good. In my personal opinion, it's actually insanely good. Let's see if we can get the... There we go. It's one of my favorite decks ever since, you know, OVERDRESS came out. I really love this deck. I really fell in love with this deck. And other than that, guys, that's pretty much it for the deck profile. Thank you guys for watching. I also, again, thank you guys for getting me to 100 subs. I really appreciate it, and from the bottom of my heart, I insanely thank you guys. It's been really awesome. Other than that, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.